Interesting to see how they go.
Our driver on pole, Lodzinski, has really dominated proceedings, winning the qualifying heats and the pre-final. And as such, is certainly the man to beat here. We're set for action in this final of the Formula A. And it was David Clark, the West Australian, that got the best start, swept around the outside. And these carts look like an angry swarm of bumblebees as they head through the first couple of corners. James Courtney.
It looks like Mark Winterbottom's in second place, and he's won a few Australian championships, so he's pretty experienced. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in the front here. Yeah,
Winterbottom now chasing our early race leader, David Clark. They're separated by a metre on the racetrack, if that. And then third and best of the rest is Lodzinski, who started on pole and really just was found wanting at the start. The cart really sat down, didn't maintain the pace or find the pace that the other carts did. And subsequently, after dominating proceedings so far all weekend, has got a lot of work to do.
David Clark is using a Merlin chassis, which is Italian, which is quite good, and also Mark Winterbottom is using a Tony cart, which is what I use overseas, and they've won a few world championships, so they're not too shabby.
Yeah, Tony cart really these days regarded as the ones to have, aren't they?
Yeah, they're actually a really good chassis. They're made in Italy, in Brescia, and I think they're quite expensive also.
Well, you'd know, as we see David Clark really at the front of an absorbing tussle here. Potential challenge being issued on the inside. It was not to be, though, as Winterbottom had a look. And another driver here going motocrossing, thank you very much. Steve Maher, the Victorian, bottoming out on the curb and found himself half a metre off the racetrack, which isn't fun.
Tends to get a little exciting when you're in the air.
A little out of control, too. We've got a terrific battle here for the top three placings. David Clark has the best of the battle for the moment. Winterbottom looking up the inside. And now also joining in is Lodzinski. It was only really a matter of time before he found his way back up front after the domination. Ooh, yeah, there was a...
Cut him off.
A risque move from Winterbottom. He almost had a sore bottom.
I think slipstreaming could come into play in this race with them this close.
Lodzinski also moves up one more spot. And Winterbottom racing under the Wins banner in this national championship. Team very, very professional too, I've got to say.
It's probably one of the top karting teams in Australia. So it's good he's driving for them.
So once again, we find our bearings back up front. Whilst all that battling's been happening, it's enabled David Clark, the West Australian race leader, to move away somewhat. Lodzinski, you'd expect him to keep coming and keep coming, and that certainly is the case now as he runs a very close second to the race leader.
I think David Clark won the Australian Championship last year, so he knows what he's doing out in front.
Lodzinski will test him. Oh, almost contact there. Lodzinski up the inside. Nice move. Can the other driver respond, David Clark? Let's take another look at it.
What you try and do is hold the outside driver on the outside for the longest, so then you balk them out of the corner, so then you pull the gap.
Keep them out on the marbles.
That's what you tend to try and do.
Lodzinski now, the change of lead up front.
Stephen Maher looks to be catching them as well.
David Clark, let's see how he can respond. The West Australian, who started from position 2 on the grid here, on the outside of Lodzinski. And he had things very much his own way for a long time, so it'll test his capabilities here to see if he can come back at the man who has dominated this Formula A category throughout the weekend. And this is the final you're watching of the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway at Pompey Complex, which has recently opened. We're sponsoring the Formula A action at Bolivar Raceway this afternoon.
Steve Maher looks like he's caught up a lot in the last lap. It's right behind him now.
Lodzinski is cleared out. Clark is second, and as called by our dual world champ and co-commentator today, James Courtney, Steve Maher, in that beautifully turned out red cart, number 89, looking very smooth too and quite aggressive.
Oh, he pulls out.
Down on the inside. Clark had a look there,
yep,
and it's happened. Clark responds, but doesn't have the racing line.
Yeah, he's sliding the cart to slow it down. Seems to braking very late, and when the cart hits the rubber, it stops pretty quick.
Good drive by Maher. Started well back in position 6. And we have seen a lot of passing. Another good job here by Winterbottom, who's made some ground after a couple of early moments.
Looks like he's pulled a bit of a gap now and looks to be throwing the chassis around a bit, so that's not too good. Hopefully the tyres will hang in for the last few laps.
So Lodzinski is the leader, Maher is second, Clark is third, and you'll find the next driver on the racetrack is Winterbottom. Clark has taken second back again with a no beg pardons move, and that also means Winterbottom has challenged for third on the racetrack. So Maher's having a nightmare drive out there at the moment. He left the door open too, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. And for the next one, seems Mark had the better run around the corner. He passes him on the inside. Oh, but Steve Maher's got back past Mark Winterbottom.
Well, this is a great battle. And, of course, James, whilst all this is happening, the leader is being left alone in front. Lodzinski, he can dictate his own terms, because obviously when you're battling with one another like this, you are slowing yourself down.
Yeah, you do slow down quite a bit, and for the leader, it's really good, because now he's just looking behind and checking out what's happening, and he sees that they're dicing, so he's just choking and keeping everything really cool so it stays together for the race.
Here comes Maher again, inside move, slides the cart to slow himself down, and is successful in taking second on the racetrack back again.
Pretty much identical to what he's done before, except it was a little bit more tidy.
Yeah, almost a carbon copy of the last time he was able to pass Clark successfully. Well, you could throw a tally-ho paper over this trio, couldn't you? A terrific kart race in the Formula A final. Forget about the leader, Lodzinski. He's a mile in front. But this is Maher, followed by Clark and Winterbottom, and there's nothing between the three. And they're battling for second, third, and fourth.
You could see it pass. Yes, there it is.
Ooh, Clark inside.
Oh, it's close.
Maher turned back in, was hoping to duck back up the inside. Another look at it.
Yeah. I think Maher tries to come back on the inside, but then there's a right-hand corner, so he's on the wrong side.
Exactly. Yeah, the idea was good, but the execution not necessarily there. And the layout of the track, meaning it was not conducive to launching a serious threat. Lodzinski is the race leader in this Formula A category at the first round of the WINZ Australian Karting Championship. Hope you've enjoyed all the action, and you'll see it all right here in 1998, 4 rounds. And we'll bring you the information in relation to the second round. It will be held on June 21 at the Willowbank venue in Queensland, which should prove to be outstanding racing. Lodzinski leader, Clark second, Maher third.
I think it'll be a very boring race for Lodzinski out in front. You hear every noise the engine makes and just praying that nothing breaks. But the race will be going very quickly for the other three.
There's the gap. That shot graphically illustrated the lead that Lodzinski is able to enjoy. The action continues. Maher up the inside of Clark. Clark was successful in fending off the challenge. Gee, it looked from this angle as though he was going to get there, didn't it?
Yep, but obviously he's backed out in the last minute. When you try and make a pass, you've got to be confident in that you're going to make it, and then just bang, make it. You can't go hesitating, otherwise you don't get it. So he'll learn from his mistakes.
It all happens so quickly. And for the uninitiated watching our program, James, the top speed of these karts as we watch Maher having another go at Clark, what sort of speeds will these machines get up to?
They're probably doing, the straight doesn't look like it's all that long, so they're probably doing about maybe 120, 125. So it's quite fast for a 100cc engine.
Unbelievable, isn't it? And sitting that close to the ground, it feels like 1,000,000 kilometres an hour.
Winterbottom's just got past Maher on the inside.
He has. Maher just getting a little bit untidy now. Bearing in mind he had to work his way up from a fair way back on the grid, position 6. He may have used up all his tyres at this point, James. He is starting to look a little sloppy.
Yeah, it looks like the chassis is tending to slide a bit now, so that's not a very good sign. And as you can see on the front wheel, it's a little dark on the inside on the tyre, when that shows that the tyre's graining up, which means that it's understeering. So that tends to slow you down in the middle of the corner and washes all your speed off, so then your exit isn't very good.
Whilst we've got you with us in commentary this weekend, I've got to ask you, having won 2 World Championships already, still just 17, where is your future? Where do you see yourself heading in motor racing?
Well, I'll be having a Formula 3 test in 2 years, which, if that all goes well... Oh!
Winterbottom's off the track.
I think his engine's just broken.
I reckon you're right, because it came from nowhere. Another look at it. Yeah, he just really pulled off the racetrack. And that enables Maher and certainly Clark to relax for a while, because it's been a battle that's been going on lap after lap.
That's not a good feeling when you come out of the corner and the engine just breaks, and then you watch all your hard work just drive away with the other two in the race. So.
Now, Wesley May has moved up now as a result of the unfortunate demise of Winterbottom. Lodzinski continues to lead the Queenslander. Then it's Clark, then Ma, then May.
May's actually using a new chassis, which is called an energy chassis. That's made in Italy, like most of the other chassis. And I've raced against Wesley many times, and he's quite a close friend of mine.
Is there any friends out on the racetrack?
Yeah, but when you get on the racetrack, you have no friends. They're all enemies.
So Ma finds himself under increasing pressure from Wesley May. That's May now. Silver, livery, card number 39. This has been a highly enjoyable race to watch. There's been plenty of action, and here's some more for you as he takes it up the inside. Wesley May.
As you can see, Wesley's card is a lot tidier and looks to be handling a lot better. As you can see in the corners, even though he's on the inside and braking late, it's still turning in quite good. So it's a really good sign for the endurance of the tyres and things like that.
Yeah, I just think, you know, even though he's doing a great job out there, Ma's used up the best of his tyres.
Yeah, I think Ma's gone out hard in the start where the race is won in the end, where Wesley's thought about that.
Not all that far now to go in this, and you're watching the highlights of the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway Formula A final in the first round of the WINS Australian Karting Championship in 1998. Wesley May, we've got to pay tribute to him, started from position 7, so he's been patient, has driven a very sensible race, and is going to find himself on the podium, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think Lodzinski's kind of trying not to fall asleep out in front there. There's not much happening around him. He's just got to try and stay on the track. So
I think most drivers would prefer to be involved in a battle of sorts.
Yeah, it tends to make the race go a lot quicker and things like that. It makes it a bit more interesting.
Terminal boredom's what he really needs to be concerned about now. I think he's actually slowing just a little bit, Lodzinski, because Clark is probably eating into the lead just slightly. The West Australian, that is Clark. He's second on the racetrack and has done a good job in this. Has kept himself tidy, hasn't panicked, led early. Has had plenty of people trying to swamp him, but has kept a clear head, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to drive from the front because when you're in second, you have someone to chase, but when you're in the front, you have no one to chase, and it's hard to keep your concentration for the full length of the race when you have no one to race against. So I think it'll be interesting to see if we can keep the gap.
If you may have just joined us, Ryan Lodzinski from Queensland leads the Formula A final. David Clark from Western Australia is second, and Wesley May from New South Wales is third. And that is Ma in the red cart. There's a nice illustration of the gap between the top runners on the racetrack as the camera panned slightly wider. And our leader, Lodzinski, has one lap of this 750-metre Bolivar raceway to negotiate.
Ooh.
And he'll take the checkered flag.
Wesley May seems to have caught him a lot, so maybe we might see a passing manoeuvre on the last lap.
That's a scrap for second and third. Clark has the best of it. He's well aware of the fact that Wesley May is there. It's been a barnstorming drive by May. Has been chipping away and finds himself in third with a real chance of pulling off second place here. Can he do it?
He might try slipstreaming down the straight.
It will be fascinating to watch that battle unfold here. Meantime, Ryan Lodzinski has taken the checkered flag in the Formula A final. Going to find David Clark finishing in second ahead of Wesley May. Steve Ma finishing in fourth, the driver of kart number 89. And Malcolm Heath rounding out the top 5 in the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway Formula A final at the WINS Australian Karting Championship.
I'm with the winner of Formula A, Ryan Lodzinski. Ryan, a terrific drive, bad start, but you certainly came good at the end.
Yeah, I thought the start after that we're going to be in a bit of trouble, but we made our way through the field and all ended up pretty good.
You did what you've done in every race this weekend. You just got a small break, let the others fight amongst themselves, and then, of course, you just pulled away. That made it a lot easier for you.
Yeah, that was the plan for the weekend. We're hoping we could stick with it, and it just happened to work out that way.